Hello everyone. I'm Candy from Susan's family. Today, I'm bringing you a blanket named Meow Pixel for the charts of this project and crocheting guidance. Please search for our website by the keyword EN001. The blanket consists of the main piece and decorations. We'll make the main piece first, then move on to the decorations. The main piece includes several pieces of different sizes. Pieces joining and edging for the blanket. We'll make the pieces first. After that, join the pieces together. And finally, crochet the edge. Let's start with the pieces. All pieces are crocheted in the same way, but the number of rows and patterns differ. Let me show you how to crochet the pieces. And then I'll walk you through various situations you might encounter during the process. Please watch the video first, and then crochet following the charts. Let's see how to make the pieces. The pieces are made with the diagonal crocheting and worked back and forth. It's divided into the increase area, square area, and the decrease area. In the process, we'll continuously join new yarn and change colors to create the corresponding patterns. The stitches techniques are chain, double crochet, and slip stitch. I'll show you how. To make it easier to watch, I'll be using a thicker yarn of random color for the specific yarn, color choices, and hook sizes. Please check the detail page and the chart of our production. First, chain 3. Now we make row 1. Chain 3 as a beginning chain. Start in the 4th chain from the hook. Pick up the back ridges of the chains to work 3 double crochets evenly. Here, consider this 3 chains and 3 double crochets as one group. We do only one group for row 1. Row 1 is completed. Move on to row 2. First, chain 3 as a beginning chain. For working back and forth, we turn the fabric over counterclockwise. Then work one group into these 3 chains. Chain 3 to begin. At this point, the wrong side of the chains is facing you. We'll still be working into the back ridge of chains. That is the strand above this raised horizontal bar. Make 3 double crochets evenly. If you can't find the correct position, you can also count from the right side of the chains. After one group is done, find the starting point of the first group and aim for the large chain space next to it. I mean here. Insert the large chain space and work a slip stitch. Continue to crochet one group here. Chain 3 to begin. In the same chain space, work 3 double crochets. For this row, we do 2 groups. Row 2 is completed. Move on to row 3. Start by chain 3. And turn over. Work one group into these 3 chains. Here, with the wrong side of the chains facing you. Work into the back ridges of chains. After that, pick up the chain space of the adjacent group. That is the chain space next to the beginning chain. Work one slip stitch there. Then, in the same chain space, work one group. After that, pick up the chain space of the adjacent group. Work one slip stitch. Then work one group here. Row 3 is completed. We do 3 groups for this row. You can see that the texture of this row matches row 1. This is the right side of the piece. The texture of the double crochets is neat. That's how we distinguish the right side from the wrong side later, by the texture. Also, the starting tail should be at the lower right. Row 4 is crocheted in the same method. Start with chains. Then work one group. After that, slip stitch into the chain space of the adjacent group. Continue with the second group. Keep matching groups to the groups. And one slip stitch between groups. Keep going like this. and complete the last group. Row 4 is finished. We do 4 groups for this row. Follow the chart. To crochet the remaining increase area. That completes the increase area. Let's move on to the square area. We'll increase groups on one side and decrease groups on the other side. I'll show you how. But the number of rows is not correct in the video. Start by making 3 beginning chains. Turn. Then pick up the chain space of the group below to make 1 slip stitch. Then do 1 group. Continue working the groups evenly, all the way to the last group. After the last group, you can see this row is missing 1 group. If you check the number of groups, it should be identical to the previous row. That completes this row. Now, move on to the next row. Start with the beginning chain. Then work groups evenly. All the way until you reach this group. Finish this group and slip stitch into the chain space of the adjacent groups. Leave the rest unworked. This row is also missing 1 group. The number of groups in this row is the same as the previous row. This row is now completed. Keep working like this. Follow the chart to complete the square area. Now, move on to the decrease area. The technique is similar to the square area, but we reduce groups at both diagonal ends. Start by making 3 chains. Turn. Slip stitch into the group below. Then do 1 group. Continue to crochet groups evenly until you reach the inner side of the last group. Finish working on the inner side of the last group. And leave the rest unworked. Slip stitch to finish. This way, there is one group decrease at both the beginning and the end. This completes this row. Move on to the next one. Likewise, we start with 3 chains. Turn and slip stitch into the group below. Do 1 group. Then, make the groups evenly. Finish working on the inner side of the last group. This row is now completed. Keep working just like you do for the first 2 rows, until you finish the last row. When completed, the final row will have only 1 group. Now, slip stitch into the adjacent group. Then chain 3. Turn. Slip stitch into the group below. And fasten off. First, chain 1 to secure. Leave a small tail. And cut. Pull tight. Weave the tails in on the wrong side of the fabric. You can weave in with a few more stitches. That completes the decrease area. That's all about the pieces. Now, I'll walk you through various situations you might encounter during the process with this sample. First, about yarn joining. There are 2 types of it. The first one is to join the new yarn at the beginning of a row. Let's see how. After that, the last stitch of the edge group from the previous row. Enlarge the loop. Thread the piece through the loop. Take out the new yarn. Make a loose knot. Insert the stitch of last double crochet on the edge. Pull the yarn through. Adjust the loop size. Chain 3 with the new yarn. Then turn. Start working the pattern. That's how we change color at the edge. Now let's talk about the second type. Yarn joining. Within a row. Let's see how. Place the working yarn on the wrong side of the piece. Take out the new yarn. Make a knot. Insert the hook into the chain space. Pull the yarn through. Place the joining tail on the wrong side. Then crochet one group. As you do that, weave in the joining tail. The second type is done for now. Now, let's see how to change color for adjacent pattern and preserve the previous yarn at the same time. There are two types of situations. Let's talk about the first type. For the same color would be needed around this block, above or next to it. Let's see how. After this color block is done, don't cut the yarn. When crocheting the next row, just pull this yarn over here to work the following group. Place the working yarn on the wrong side of the piece. Slightly tighten the previous yarn. The pulled yarn shouldn't be too tight. The pulled yarn should be woven in as you go. That covers the first type. Now let's talk about the second one. This color won't be needed around this color block, but it will be needed one group on the lower left. Or upper left. We'll simply pull the yarn over and crochet. That covers the second type. We have now covered the color changing for adjacent groups without yarn cutting. Next, we'll do the color changing for adjacent groups with yarn cutting. But only for groups further on the lower left, more than 2 groups away. Leave a tail of 15 centimeters. Then cut. Join the yarn when you need it. Let's see how to weave in the ends after cutting the yarn. At the color changing point, draw out the tail. From the braid above. And gently tighten. This is equivalent to making a knot. Weave the remaining tail to the wrong side of the piece. With a few more stitches. If you want it to be more secure, divide the tail into 2 strands. And hook one out from the adjacent position. and tie a double knot with them. Then weave the remaining tail into the piece. With a few more stitches. For the other tails, except for the starting one, weave them in on the piece as well. For the joining tail, weave it in with a few more stitches in the fabric. That's how we do the color changing for adjacent groups with yarn cutting. Next, we'll talk about the color blocks further apart. Within the same row, at least 2 groups away. To make it easier, we join the yarn in one of the areas. There are 2 ends in one skein. One on the surface and one at the center. When you only have one skein for a color, join the yarn with the other end. For colors with multiple skein, join the yarn with the end from another skein. First, place the previous yarn on the wrong side. Pick up the corresponding yarn and join the yarn. That's how to handle color blocks further within a row. Next, we will join the pieces together. To make it easier to explain, I will number them from bottom up and right to left. We'll join them in the order of the numbers. First, position the pieces correctly according to the finished project and the joining chart. Now, let's see do to make it. Take out piece 1 and piece 2. Here I will be working on the sample with the right side up. Take up the corresponding yarn, make a knot. Locate the stitch of the first double crochet of the first group. At the edge of piece 1. Insert your hook. Draw the loop through. And chain 1. For the edge of piece 2, pick up a few strands from the edge of first group and make 1 slip stitch. One chain. Pick up the slip stitch above the edge of piece 1. And make 1 slip stitch. One chain. For the edge of piece 2, Locate the stitch of the middle double crochet in the second group from the bottom. And make 1 slip stitch. One chain. Now, locate the second slip stitch on the left edge. Make 1 slip stitch. 1 chain. Now, locate the third group on the right edge. Pick up a few strands from it. Make 1 slip stitch. 1 chain. Keep going like this to join the pieces together. After that, fasten off the yarn and weave in the tail. Piece 1 and 2 are joined. Next, move on to piece 3. Here, we'll join the pieces with the corresponding colors. Let's do this together. First, take out the corresponding yarn. Keep joining until you reach the next color block. After the slip stitch, leave the hook like this. Leave a tail of 15 centimeters and cut. Place it on the wrong side of the piece. And we'll use a sewing needle to hide it on the wrong side later. Then, take out the new yarn and join. After that, make 1 slip stitch on the left side. And chain 1. Keep going until you reach the next point of color change. Change the color with the same technique. And continue crocheting. Repeat this process for the following blocks. Hide all the tails. On the wrong side. After piece 3 and joined. Set it aside for later use. For piece 4, 5, and 6, please follow the previous demonstration. Join them in order according to the chart. Pay attention to the seams of color blocks. Don't get the colors wrong. Once done, place the pieces together. Join them from top to bottom. During the process, you will encounter these joining points. I will show you how to deal with them. Chain 1 first. Then, make 1 slip stitch around the center of the joining point on the left edge. That's how we deal with the joining point. Keep going. Once done, fasten off and weave in the ends. The joining of pieces is now complete. Next, we will do the edging for the blanket. The new stitch technique here are single crochet, SC 3 in 1, DC 5 in 1. I'll show you in detail. Round 1 first. With the blanket's right side facing up, locate the topmost group on the right edge of piece 3. We start from. We join the yarn in the stitch of the middle double crochet. Chain 1 as a beginning chain. Crochet 1 single crochet in the same spot. Weave in the tail as you go. In the stitch of next double crochet, work 1 SC3 in 1. That means to work 3 single crochet in one spot. After done, rotate the piece. Crochet 2 single crochets in the chain space. Three single crochets in the next chain space. Consider these 5 single crochet as a pattern for the following chain spaces. Alternate crocheting 2 and 3 single crochets. All the way to the next corner. After that, you can check the completed area to see if it is flat. If not, adjust the number of single crochets as needed. For each corner, crochet SC3 in 1. For the remaining part, alternate crocheting 2 and 3 single crochets. For starting chain like this, pick up the remaining 2 strands and crochet single crochet evenly. For double crochets like this, pick up the strands and crochet single crochets. After that, join with the first stitch with a slip stitch. That completes round 1. Now let's crochet round 2. Chain 3 as a beginning chain. Work 1 double crochet in the next stitch. In the top stitch of the corner, work DC5 in 1. That is to crochet 5 double crochets in the same spot. After that, crochet double crochet evenly. For the corners, work DC 5 in 1. For the remaining part, work double crochet evenly. Please complete this round. After that, join with a slip stitch into 2 strands of the third chain of beginning chain. Round 2 is complete. For the remaining part, please follow the chart as you crochet. That completes the edging for the blanket. Next, let's move on to decorations. The decorations for each piece are slightly different. They are all marked on the chart. I will start with the decorations for piece 1, which includes the eyes, the highlight, the nose, the whiskers. Pad 1. Pad 2. A heart. And stripe 5. The tail. And the stitch chains. The eyes, the highlight, and pad 1 are all started with a magic ring and crocheted in rounds counterclockwise. The new stitch technique here is the SC2 in 1. Let's make the eyes first. Here's a video about it. First, make a magic ring to start. The loops should be large. The magic ring is now complete. Chain 1 as the beginning chain. Work 7 single crochets into the ring. After that, close the ring. Join with the first stitch with a slip stitch. Pull tight. The joining slip stitch doesn't count as one stitch and needs to be pulled tight. I'll cut this cliche from now. Round 1 is complete. Now, crochet round 2. Chain 1 as the beginning chain. It doesn't count as one stitch. Pull tight. Make 1 SC2 in 1 for each stitch. That is to work 2 single crochets in the same spot. Weave in the starting tail as you go. After that, join with the first stitch with a slip stitch. Pull tight. Round 2 is complete. Now, crochet round 3. Chain 1 as the beginning chain. Work single crochets across this round, but increase every other stitch. After that, do not slip stitch into the first stitch. Leave a tail of 30 centimeters. And bind off. Insert the first stitch from front to back. Pull the tail through. Then insert the back right of the last stitch from back to front. Pull the tail through. Adjust the loop size. This completes the bind off. The eye is now done. Please crochet one more. Follow the previous video and bind off technique to crochet the corresponding number of highlights and pads. That's all about the whole eyes and pad 1. Next, move on to the heart. Stripe 5 and pad 2. All started with foundation chains and crocheted in rounds counterclockwise. The new stitch techniques include SC2 tog and half double crochet. Let's make the heart first. Please watch my demonstration. First, chain 8. Then crochet round 1. Chain 1 as the beginning chain. Start in the second chain from the hook, crochet 7 single crochets evenly. SC3 and 1 in the last chain. Rotate the piece. Pick up the remaining 2 strands and crochet 6 single crochets evenly. But do not insert the same spot where you made SC3 and 1. In the remaining 2 strands of the last chain, crochet 2 single crochets. When done, join with the first stitch with a slip stitch. Pull tight. Round 1 is complete. Then crochet round 2, chain 1 as beginning chain. First, work 1 SC2 in 1. Then crochet 2 single crochets. And 1 SC2 tog evenly. Insert the next stitch. And draw through. Insert the adjacent stitch and draw through. Now, there are 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over. Draw through all loops at once. SC2 tog is completed. Follow the chart to finish the remaining part. When done, join with the first stitch with a slip stitch. Round 2 is complete. For the remaining rounds, please follow the chart as you go. The binding off is the same as for the eyes. It won't be difficult to you. That concludes the heart. Let's move on to stripe 5. First, chain 9. And chain 1 as the beginning chain. Start in the second chain from the hook, crochet 2 single crochets. 5 half double crochets. 1 single crochet evenly. 1 SC3 in 1 in the last chain. Rotate the piece. Pick up the remaining 2 strands and crochet 1 single crochet. Five half double crochets. One single crochet evenly. On the remaining 2 strands of the last chain, work 1 SC2 in 1. After that, finish off. Trim the excess. That concludes stripe 5. Now follow the chart and the previous video to complete pad 2. I've already done that, set it aside for now. That concludes pad 2. Next, let's move on to the tail. We will start with the foundation chain and crochet back and forth. Finally, crochet the edging. The new stitches technique here are DC2 in 1 and DC2 tog. Please watch my demonstration. First, chain 5. And chain 3 as the beginning chain. Start in the 4th chain from the hook, crochet 5 double crochets evenly. Row 1 is completed. Now, crochet row 2, chain 3 as the beginning chain. These count as 1 double crochet, turn the work. The beginning chain matches the double crochet stitch below. Start in the next stitch, crochet 5 double crochets evenly. The last one is crocheted into the beginning chain of the previous row. Into these 2 strands. Row 2 is completed. Now, crochet row 3. Chain 3 as the beginning chain. Turn the work. Crochet 4 double crochets evenly. And crochet 1 DC2 in 1, in the beginning chain of the previous row. Into these 2 strands. That is to crochet 2 double crochets in the same stitch. Row 3 is completed. Keep working following the chart until row 14. Here I've done that. Now, crochet row 15, chain 3 as the beginning chain. Turn the work. Now, crochet 1DC2 tog. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through. Yarn over. Draw through the first 2 loops. An unclosed double crochet is done. Now do another one. Now there are 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and draw through all loops. 1DC2 tog is complete. Then crochet 7 double crochets evenly. Finally, crochet 1DC2 tog. Start with 2 unclosed double crochets. Yarn over, draw through once. Row 15 is complete. Please follow the chart and the demonstration for the next 2 rows. After that, fasten off the yarn. And take up the new one. Locate the beginning chain of row 15. Join the yarn in the chain space. Chain 1 to begin, and work 3 single crochets in the same spot. Next, for the sides of the last 2 rows, make 3 single crochets each. Then 5 single crochets evenly across the stitches. Rotate the piece. Crochet 3 half double crochets on the side of row 17. For the rest, make 3 half double crochets for each row side. Across row 6. Start in row 5, crochet 3 single crochets, each for the row sides. until you reach row 1. Once done, leave a tail for sewing. That completes the tail. Now let's sew. Take the eye for example. The position is not correct. Thread the reserved tail onto the sewing needle. Sew through strands from the surface of the blanket. And from the back of the eyepiece. Once done, tie off and weave in the ends. Please follow the finished project too. Sew on the remaining decorations in place. Now, let's see how to embroider the whiskers. Cut a piece of black yarn and thread the sewing needle. Embroider short lines like this. First, tie a knot on the wrong side to secure the tail. The position is not for reference. Please focus on the technique. Embroider 3 whiskers. Tie off and weave in the ends when done. Do the same on the other side. That's how you embroider the whiskers. Next, let's see how to embroider the nose. Please watch the video first before working. Cut a piece of pink yarn. Embroider an inverted triangle. Then take a piece of black yarn to outline it. That's how you embroider the nose. Next, let's talk about the stitch chain. Let's look at the finished project. In these two positions, work one stitch chain of 30 chains and one of 55 chains as the outlines. The length can be changed if you need. Then, follow the shape. To outline the curve, there are no specific requirements for the sewing technique. Just make sure it's securely sewn. Finally, at the bottom of the cat, embroider 2 short lines, each for these two positions. When sewing the tail, a part of it is sewn onto piece 4. This concludes the decorations for piece 1. For the decorations for piece 2 to 5. The crocheting and sewing technique are the same as for piece 1. Please follow the finished project and sew them in place. Note: we embroider short lines on the dark gray block of piece 5. To create the effect of pom-pom. When sewing accessory 1, a part of it is sewn onto piece 6. When outlining the nose, you can shape it like this. When embroidering the whiskers, each whisker should have 3 short lines. On piece 3, we do this whisker with only 2 short lines. And do 2 or 3 for the rest of the whiskers. It's up to you. When making the outlines with stitch chains, shape properly at the corresponding positions. This completes the decorations for piece 2 to 5. Next, let's move on to the decorations for piece 6, which includes the eyes, the highlight, the whiskers, the nose, and the star lantern. We make and sew the eyes, highlight, whiskers, and the nose just the same as before. Please follow the chart to make and sew them in place. Next, let's move on to the star lantern. We have a small one with hanging loop 1 and large one with hanging loop 2. The new stitches technique here is the treble crochet. Let's make the large one. Please watch my demonstration. First, complete the first 5 rounds according to the chart. Here, I have already done that. Now, let's crochet round 6. Chain 1 to begin. Crochet evenly, 1 single crochet, 1 SC2 in 1, 1 single crochet, and 5 chains. Start in the 3rd chain from the hook, crochet 3 single crochets evenly. Crochet 1 single crochet in the next stitch below. Then work 1 SC2 in 1. Followed by 1 single crochet. Finish the rest of the round like this. Join with a slip stitch. Round 6 is completed. Now, let's crochet round 7. Chain 1 to begin. First, 1 single crochet. Then pick up the remaining 2 strands. To work 1 treble crochet. Yarn over twice. Insert. Yarn over and draw through. Yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops. Repeat this process 3 times. A treble crochet is complete. Then work 1 DC2 in 1. 1/2 double crochet. 1 single crochet. And 3 chains. Rotate the piece. For the other side. 1 single crochet in the chain. 1/2 double crochet in the next stitch. 1 DC2 in 1 in the next stitch. Now, 1 treble crochet. Yarn over twice. Insert. Yarn over and draw through. Yarn over again, and draw through the first 2 loops. Repeat this process 3 times. Then skip 3 stitches below. Work 1 single crochet in the 4th stitch. Then crochet into the remaining 2 strands of the chain. Consider this single crochet and the stitches crocheted in the chain as one group. For this round, we repeat this group across. When done, join with a slip stitch. Round 7 is completed. Leave a tail for sewing. That completes the large star lantern. Now crochet the hanging loop 2 and assemble it with the large lantern. Sew it onto the corresponding position on piece 6. Now, follow the chart to crochet the small star lantern with hanging loop 1, then sew them in place. Up to this point, this project is all covered. If you have any question during the process, don't hesitate to reach us via the website. Susan's Family, supporting your handwork experience, sharing the joy of life. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.